The film begins with a young orphaned child. He had begun to live a sorrowful life, so he visits his grandmother. He is known as Hero Boy. However, he was in pathos because he missed his parents. His grandmother was extremely affectionate and kind. She used to provide excellent care for Hero Boy. Bert, Hero Boy, was not cooperative here. Her grandmother tells him, "I brought a pet for you. Play with and befriend it. Share your secrets with it." Within a few weeks, his grandmother gives him a mouse. Having that rat made Hero Boy extremely happy. He used to spend the majority of his time with it. He would always say to his grandmother, "Mice have a good time. They jump and continue to play inside their cages." One day, Hero Boy is playing with the mouse in his room. A witch is staring at her from the outside. The witch's sight was strange. Hero Boy's grandmother's condition deteriorates simultaneously. She recovered after some time. She tells Hero Boy to come on. "My son, let's take a walk outside." Then they go shopping at a store. A lady approaches Hero Boy as he moves away from his grandmother. She was a witch in reality. She extends a chocolate to Hero Boy. She was the same witch who had stared at their house that day. She addresses Hero Boy as "Dear child, come here." She was enchanting him. That witch also possessed a mysterious snake. Meanwhile, Hero Boy's grandmother calls to tell him that it is time. When Hero Boy sees him, he starts running towards her. That witch flees the scene. "Hero Boy," tells his grandmother, coming to the house. "Grandmother, that woman was speaking to me mysteriously in the store. She was giving me chocolate with force. And she said, 'Listen to me.' She also had a snake." His grandmother says to him, "My son, she was a witch. Why do we forbid you from eating anything offered by strangers? It is very likely that it was drugged. Most importantly, why would you want to eat something served by a witch? She will certainly try to entice you. Allow me to share my childhood story with you. I was 10 years old. I've also got a friend. We were going somewhere. Suddenly my friend vanished while walking. When I saw her, a strange lady was offering her chocolate. She was a witch. It is more appropriate to refer to her as the witch's leader, so I left the place with my friend. The next day, my mother was making my hair tail. My friend transformed into a chicken right in front of my eyes. It means the witch had cursed her. It's also possible that something was in the chocolate she ate, so I stay away from the witches from my childhood. Next time, stay away from them and don't take anything. Inform me if someone approaches you." Hero Boy's grandmother informs him, "My son, we will soon leave this place, because our house has caught the attention of the witches, and she targets the lower classes first. There was a hotel ahead of their home. Her cousin worked as the hotel's executive chef. He had a good relationship with the hotel manager. She tells him to reserve a small room for her. It means that the hotel manager was a decent man. Grandmother and Hero Boy move into that hotel. They are free to travel wherever they want, but then something strange occurs. At first glance, many witches enter that hotel because they have a gathering and must eat a magnificent dinner afterward. All witches were so fashionable. They meet the manager as they arrive. They tell him, "You know who we are, so set up a hall for our gathering. The plan is to abduct all children and offer them chocolate with the magical formula. Eating them will transform all children into animals, because we believe that children have poor manners, and they don't deserve to leave this world. We don't have much time left to scrutinize the ill-mannered children, so we will victimize all of the children." Now it's nighttime, and Hero Boy is talking to his grandmother. It's raining outside. Hero Boy asks grandmother, "What do the witches look like?" His grandmother says their fingers are longer, their nails are filthy. This is why they put on the gloves. They are bald, so they wear wigs or big hats. Hearing these facts, Hero Boy was extremely frightening. As the storm rages on, morning comes. Hero Boy wasn't happy, so he goes into the grand hall and grabs his mouse to play with. At the same time, all witches flock there to gather. Fearful Hero Boy hides there. Grand High Witch starts to sniff him, but she can't find him anywhere. So she starts the meeting. Now all of the witches were seated in their chairs, and there was Grand High Witch in front of them. She shows them a potion and refers to it as a magic formula. Pouring a single drop into candy or chocolate can transform kids into animals. It will be the result of it. She begins to describe it in greater detail. She then smells Hero Boy again. She starts to sniff the stage. At the time, her nose and face appeared disgusting and ridiculous. Finally, she was the a grand high witch, so she throws the stage aside and lifts it, but there is no one below the stage. However, there was a ventilation window behind it, where she meets Hero Boy. She attempts to capture him, but is interrupted by a large child who appears to be a guest's son. All of the witches capture him and approach him. He enjoyed eating. Witches are content with their ability to easily entrap him, and they offer him the same chocolate, laced with their potion. That child transforms into a small mouse and quickly devours the chocolate. Witches begin to feel fearful after seeing that mouse. As they are about to crush the mouse under their heeled shoes, Hero Boy's mouse appears out of the ventilator window and tries to take New Mouse. But Hero Boy had made a mistake by doing so, because all witches grab him. Then they place a single drop of the magical liquid in his ear. Consequently, Hero Boy is also transformed into a mouse. Now the mice of Bulky Child and Hero Boy flee. They are also joined by Hero Boy's pet mouse. Then it is revealed that she was a little girl, which had also transformed into a mouse by offering chocolate. Three of them form a strong bond of friendship, and they say, "We will undoubtedly exact revenge on these witches." Hero Boy tells his grandmother that witches transformed them into mice. She declares, "Hell with these witches. They turned my children into mice. I will exact revenge on them." Hero Boy informs his grandmother that the witch's home has a terrace visible from their room. The grandmother devises a plan. She will knit a sock for you and put it inside. You may proceed upward, stealing her magical liquid, and I'll reform you. So she does the same. Grandmother puts her grandson, means Hero Boy, into the sock and descends. Hero Boy is scared of that witch, but she is not present. Lifting that potion, Hero Boy returns to the sock. That witch notices it as his grandmother pulls up the sock, and she grabs the sock firmly. Hero Boy's grandmother tells her to leave it. "It dropped down while I was knitting this sock, so I'm pulling it upward again." That witch asks, "How is it?" Then she is going to check the sock. She had the ability to kill Hero Boy's mouse while witnessing it. Meanwhile, the manager approaches, so she drops the sock. Now, grandmother had brought that potion upstairs. She poured the liquid into the plate and placed the three mice one at a time. But what is this? That magic liquid has no effect, because that potion had the ability to transform humans into animals rather than animals into humans. Hero Boy declares, "Grandmother, we cannot be recovered. Why shouldn't we pour this potion into the witch's soup, which they will consume? By the way, you may proceed to the kitchen." Grandmother says, "Wow, kids, what a fantastic idea you've shared." Then she goes to the kitchen and takes three of the mice into her bag, where witch's soup is being prepared, and she injects that potion into it. The hotel manager then encounters the grandmother who is doing this. He inquires, "Are these mice yours? If these are your pets, do not take them into the kitchen. You committed a filthy act." Then grandmother says, "These aren't my mice. Check everything." Grandmother has hidden the mice in the corner of her bag. The manager does not find the mice while inspecting her room and luggage, so he feels embarrassed. Then grandmother says, "I'll file a complaint against you. How did you randomly check anyone's room? Now look, the police will seal your hotel." That manager is reverent and says, "Oh lady, have courage. What happened at all? You might have dinner on my part. I apologize to you." The grandmother achieves her goal, despite the fact that she also receives food. The witch's dinner time approaches. Those witches had prepared the soup solely for themselves. It would be beneficial for them to transform into a mouse while consuming this soup. At first sight, all witches transform into mice as they consume soup. Grandmother is pleased to be witnessing them. It was also providing a pleasant sight. Grandmother and the entire hotel staff begin to kill mice. Unfortunately, Grand High Witch had not yet tasted the soup. As a result, she does not transfer into a mouse. Then three of the mice laid a trap. They make the witch's finger tricky to catch in the trap. So when that witch starts shouting, they immediately pour that potion into her mouth. She had now transformed into a mouse that was larger than other mice. They bind her to a glass cup. The grandmother then positions the cat in front of the witch's cage. And who knows, that cat might eat or kill that mouse while attacking it. Now grandmother is overjoyed, packing three of the mice into her bag. She comes out of the hotel because she no longer faced a threat from witches. She could also live a life in her home. Outside, it is clear that the bulky kid's parents are very concerned. Where has our son gone? However, his mother was very indecent. She never loved his son. When her son speaks in a mouse voice, she expresses fear and says, "Hold it in your complete control. I will not consider taking it." That mouse also says, "All right, I have my friends. I'm grateful to be rid of them." Now, grandmother has brought 3 of the mice with her, and she offers them food. 3 of the mice were pleased with their lives and new friends, and their grandmother used to take the best care of them. The interesting fact was that 3 of those mice never wanted to become human. They used to run, jump, and have fun. When grandmother saw them, she felt content. The film concludes with an upbeat ending. We hope you had a good time. Thank you for watching.